Let's maul in the Central Committee. Let's cringe in the Central Committee. Let's bog in the Central Committee right now.
Let's talk about what's going on in Alabama. Bernie Sanders went down there to support the organization pushing for the Amazon union.
They know that it is not only workers here who are sick and tired of these outrageous working conditions, and I just had a few minutes to chat with some of you about the heat that you have to work under, the 12-hour day, 12 hours work schedules that you have. The fact that when you get a 30-minute break, it takes you 10 minutes to get to the break station and 10 minutes back. I don't know how people digest the meal in 10 minutes. And it is time for you to be able to sit down and negotiate better working conditions. Union is not going to solve it all. But what it does do is allow you a seat at the table. When you go against one of the largest corporations of the world and you do it alone, you have no power. But when you stand together in solidarity with each other, you can negotiate for a better workday.
So Bernie Sanders is down there busting his ass.
And what we know is if we are interested in expanding a middle class which has been shrinking for decades, the only way to do it is to grow the union movement, and you are in the forefront of that struggle. So I say to you, you may not know it or not, but what you're doing is historical. Historical. Because all over this country, people are sick and tired of being exploited, sick and tired of not having the dignity that they deserve. And your message to people all over this country is stand up and fight back. You're going to do it here. We can do it all over this country. We can grow the middle class. We can make sure that all of our working people can live with the respect and dignity that they deserve. This country belongs to all of us, not just a handful of billionaires. 100 years ago, there were children in Alabama and in Vermont who were working in factories and working in the fields. But working people stood up and said, no, that's wrong. We want kids in schools and not in factories and in fields. Years ago, people worked 50, 60, 70 hours a week with no benefits, and workers came together and demanded that they be treated with respect and dignity, and they formed unions. If history teaches us anything, is that big money interests do not give you anything. You got to stand up and fight for it. And in this, the wealthiest country in the history of the world, dealing with the wealthiest individual in the world, there is no excuse for workers at Amazon not to have good wages, good benefits, and good working conditions. And if you pull this off here, Birmingham, Alabama, if you pull this off here, believe me, workers all over this country are going to be saying, if these people in Alabama could take on the wealthiest guy in the world, we can do it as well. And what we know is if we are interested in expanding a middle class which has been shrinking for decades, the only way to do it is to grow the union movement, and you are in the forefront of that struggle. So I say to you, you may not know it or not, but what you're doing is historical. Historical.
I think one of the things that is amazing about Bernie Sanders is that he never runs out of energy. He's always there. He's always there.
And today I say to Jeff Bezos,
Jen, thanks to the
who is
Gen
worth
X Bushki,
$180 billion, not million, billion. A man who has made tens of billions of dollars in the last year during this pandemic. And what I say to Mr. Bezos, why, when you have so much money, more money that can be spent in 1,000,000 lifetimes, why are you spending millions trying to defeat an effort on the part of workers here who want nothing more than decent wages, decent benefits, decent working conditions? And today I say to Jeff Bezos, who is worth $180 billion.
Now, chat. There was somebody else who went down to this. Killer Mike. This is like getting the old crew back together. This is like a reunion tour. Killer Mike down in Alabama, the rally in support of unionization.
I don't know if I can do a better job at chanting than that. That's damn good. Hi, my name is Michael Render. I'm professionally known as Killer Mike, absolutely. I am from a family that's out of Tuskegee, Alabama. We're the Blackmans and we're the Mackeys. And I'd just like to say that as proud as I am to be a part of the legacy of Alabama and being a part of the family, I'm deeply ashamed of what this company is doing to Alabamians. I'm ashamed that we still live in a country where we celebrate someone, and I'll qualify, I'm what they call in the South Negro rich. I got enough money to last me my lifetime. I'm gonna try to have some left over for my kids, but I'm gonna have a lot of fun while I'm here. Jeff Bezos is beyond white folks rich. Jeff Bezos is what they called in the old South the planter class. And what was the planter class? The planter class was the class of people who could afford to own plantations, and then they would use people that they had labeled as poor white people who were living this gypsy lives, going through the South working. They came up with a name for those poor white folks. They called them crackers. And they decided to distinguish those poor white people from the planter class, and they used them in the fields. And there was another people that they had brought over from Africa that they called niggers. And they worked both of these classes of peoples relentlessly in drudging heat in the South for the profit of the planter class. That planter class became enormously wealthy. They did trade that enriched not only the South and the Confederacy, but before and after that, this union. So this country was built, as the Vice President of the Confederacy said, on the cornerstone of not only slavery, which he indicated, but an indentured servitude and a suppressive workplace that kept poor people poor by keeping them separated, keeping them humiliated, and keeping them down. Now, 120 years later, here I stand, a product of the legacy of Alabama, a product of a woman who grew up a sharecropper, my grandmother, later went on to become a nurse and start a family in Atlanta, and the exact conditions that she described to me when working on a field in Tuskegee, Alabama, unrelenting heat, the inability to go use the bathroom or to go use the lavatory in a decent time and come back and have a full day's work accounted to you. All these things that a woman who worked in a sharecropping field told me are being said by workers here today. Michael, it is unrelentingly hot. We do not have access to air conditioning. If we get into work 1 minute late, they take an hour of our time off. And in that room is not just people who look like me. In that room is not just people who are black or brown or melanated. In that room is the diaspora that is Alabama. It is the tapestry that is America. It is black, white, woman, man, every other race and ethnic group. And we should be ashamed of ourselves for allowing companies to come in and pillage our people. We should be ashamed of ourselves for allowing our need and want for a package to get there in 2 days to cause a woman with an injured arm to be told by a company, no matter your injury, you can exercise it off. So just think about when your child hurt themselves on a football field or a basketball field. Just think about the asshole coach that says walk it off. Think about being promised better insurance when you come to work for a company, and at the end of the better insurance, you go to the doctor and you still get a bill. Think about a woman having a heart attack and falling out behind you because she's so hot and tired. Think about people that saying it takes me 10 minutes to walk to my car after work. The richest man in the world can't even give us golf carts. We have to walk to our car, and then we sit in our car, and we're so fatigued and we're so tired that we just sit there. Think about an environment where you walk out to the latest rap song because they tell you that's hip. They might play some Cardi B, might play some Run the Jewels, might play some New Lil Baby, as they've worked you like a slave. They might leave a sugary snack out for you to boost your metabolism enough to get through packing packages every 9 seconds. I can't pick my nose in 9 seconds. And you expected people to pick something in 9 seconds because we simply need it. So I'm going to tell everyone that works here, I'm going to say absolutely you should vote yes for that union. Because what the union does is give you an organized seat at the table. It allows you to plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize. It allows you to say that pay in Alabama should be more than $16 in a warehouse. There's no way we should be seeing below $20. Don't tell me you want to make an economic investment in my community and then you come pay me fast food wages. You don't want an economic investment. You want to use me like an indentured servant to enrich the richest man in the world. Now, I've heard stories about other rich men. That was a rich man in Africa. His name was Mansa Musa. He had a kingdom called Mali. He was so rich when he took his pilgrimage to Mecca, he gave away gold all along. Messed up the world trade for about 7-8 years. But that is the heart of a truly rich man. The heart of a man who's worth $150 billion, who will not provide air conditioning, who will not provide an hour paid break, who penalizes people for being a minute late. That is an evil, evil heart. That is a heart filled with greed and contempt for the worker. So on the behalf of the worker, I'm going to surpass their vote because I want their vote to go through. But if it doesn't, I won't be ordering from Amazon again. If that vote does not go through, if these conditions do not improve, then I'll just be walking on out to the store with my mask on. But what I won't do is by being a customer, enable the richest man in the fastest growing company to use slave labor any longer. These people have been treated as badly as my grandmother when she sharecropped in this same state. These people have been denied the basic laboratory rights that you would allow any child going to school in an 8-hour day. These people, in the name of the convenience of shit getting dropped at our door, are being used and abused as though they're tools and their life can be thrown away because it's peak season. So what I'm going to tell the public, past the union, past Mr. Bezos, is if they won't treat their people right, who are we if we stand on the side of evil just to get a package to our door 2 days? So I want people after today to take a firm look in the mirror and look at your fellow statespeople, look at your fellow Americans, and I want you to say this to yourself. Them having a master, good or evil, is not worth me getting a package in 2 days at my door. I'm just going to bet a plan and order 2 weeks earlier. But what I'm no longer going to do is support any evil because it's more convenient for me at the expense of these beautiful, wonderful, working their ass off people here in Bessemer, Alabama. I want to tell you, I love you.
I can tell you right now, chat, that's the Killer Mike Torch's evil Jeff Bezos for using slave labor at Amazon. And here's the thing, chat. Slavery never ended in Alabama. AOC got involved in this as well. Amazon earlier, we talked about this yesterday. They said, you don't really believe the peeing in bottles thing, do you? If that were true, nobody would work for us. The truth is that we have over 1 million incredible employees around the world who are proud of what they do and have great wages and healthcare from day one. AOC replied, this you? And she linked an image. Hello. This evening, an associate discovered human feces in an Amazon bag that was returned to the station by a driver. This is the third occasion in the last 2 months when bags have been returned to station with poop inside. You understand that DAs may have emergencies while on road, and especially during COVID, DAs have struggled to find bathrooms while delivering. Regardless, DAs cannot, must not return bags to station with poop inside. We've noticed an uptick recently of all kinds of unsanitary garbage being left inside bags. Used masks, gloves, bottles of urine. By scanning the QR code on the bag, we can easily identify the DA who was in possession of the bag last. These behaviors are unacceptable and will result in Tier 1 infractions going forward. Please communicate this message to your drivers. I know it may seem obvious, like something you shouldn't need to coach, but please be explicit when communicating the message that they cannot poop or leave bottles of urine inside bags. Health and safety of all DAs and Amazon associates will always be our top priority. None of us should have to deal with these kind of messes. Please respond and confirm that you have received this email. Now, notice the way that Amazon responds to this need. They see a trend of drivers pissing in bottles, pooping in cars, and their response isn't, maybe we should work some breaks into the driver's schedule so that they have the ability to use the restroom in a sanitary fashion. That's not their reaction. Their reaction is punitive. It's not, oh my God, I am disgusted that they would use the toilet in the car. It is, just don't return it to us. We don't want to see it. That's why the rich will never be humane. It didn't matter how much money the plantation owner made. He didn't improve the condition of his slaves, except at his whim. Doesn't matter how much Jeff Bezos makes. He'll never pay a living wage unless he's forced to. Through millennia, the ownership class, the master class, has exploited the worker. That's the dialectic of humanity. Since we first planted crops to today, power concedes nothing without demand. And you can wait, and it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter how low the taxes get. It doesn't matter how lax the regulations are. It doesn't matter how many government subsidies they're given. They will not improve the condition of their worker. They will exploit to the hilt. The only proven way of getting value back to the worker is through the labor movement and collective control. You have to break them with laws. You have to break them with direct action. There is no other alternative. There is no negotiating. There is nothing that you can do but through collective action. And this letter that AOC tweeted tells you something deeply about the culture of Amazon. They see their associates as robots, as tools to be ground down, like a drill bit. You don't weep when a drill bit is worn down too much to drill. You throw it in the fucking recycle bin, the trash, and you get a new one. You don't cry when a machine breaks down and can't be economically repaired. You throw it away and get a new one. That's just the cost of doing business. That's how they see these people. And if the suitor, and it is iconic, it is absolutely, if they succeed in organizing this union, if they succeed in Bessemer, Alabama, the home of racial segregation, the home of the legacy of racism and slavery, the home of a legacy of dividing the worker by race, a legacy of anti-union sentiment. If they can successfully organize there, we could successfully organize anywhere. Since we're being nostalgic, Killer Mike's "The Time Is Now" speech. Why not?
I just want to say one of my favorite writers growing up was a man named James Baldwin.
You can only sharpen things so many times.
Baldwin saying, you asked my father to wait, my brother to wait, my uncle to wait. How long must I wait on freedom? How long must I wait on rights and equality and liberty? And as a black child, that resonated with me because I knew I'd been denied and I personalized that. But as I grew, I started to understand poor white people have been denied. Women have been denied. Gays and lesbians, transgender people been denied. Immigrant children been denied. Everybody outside of that 1% has been denied. So I want you to take a few seconds to look to your left and look to your right. Look to your neighbor and say, neighbor, the time is now. There are more of us. We're stronger. We will wait no longer. The time is now. When you go to that booth next year, I need you to carry in that booth the memory of this room. Black, white, straight, gay, men, female. We are together. We are united. Our time is right now. We will not wait 4 more years. We will not wait 20 more years. We will not wait 2 more presidents. We will not wait 3 more presidents. The time is now. The time is not in the future. The time is not some abstract time. The time is not something that might be. The time ain't something that could be. The time ain't nothing that should be, that would be. It ain't tomorrow. It ain't the day after. It ain't coming next week. The time is. The time is. The time is. The time is. Senator Bernard Sanders will be the next president of the United States. States of America, thank you.
It's tough. Tough to see. Tough to see what could have been. But here's the thing, chat. Do not weep because of what it could have been. Look at what we are achieving now. That's why I think it is important to look at victory. To turn your eyes away from defeat and the doldrums and pessimism. And this is something that everyone really needs to internalize. That we are making progress and the time is now. The time is still now. And that is why Bernie Sanders is out there like a fucking machine. Can you imagine being his age and having the energy and the will to fight like he does? If he can do it, your lazy 30, 20-something ass can do it too, or 40-something.
What would they say about us here in Alabama? They say we are guided for a change. We're thinking about the folks that work for us and make it happen on any of these jobs.
The owners of the system are not going to give it to you. They never have.
It's the workers that's the key.
Every benefit, including the minimum wage, which is much too low, has been earned by the sweat and blood of workers during the Depression period to get the little that they have today.
Most importantly, what we have got to do is reverse the trend by which it is harder and harder for workers to come together to form a union.
The case of Amazon, let's be clear. You're dealing with an enormously profitable corporation owned by the wealthiest guy in America, Jeff Bezos. They can afford to pay their workers living wages and provide decent benefits.
Power rests with people who are organized and are willing to stand up and fight for their rights. You have the right to have dignity. You have the right to have decent health care, decent housing, if you get together and if you organize.
And if the folks in Bessemer can do that, it will be a shot heard around the world, and I think give a lot of encouragement to other workers who would like to join unions.
All of these big businesses, they come together and they form unions. But if the people who have money are able to come together, why is it that working people, low-income people, are unable to come together to form unions?
When you are alone and you're getting low wages and bad working conditions, you don't have a whole lot of power. You can go to your employer, maybe they'll do something, maybe they won't. But when you stand together and you engage in collective bargaining, when you fight for a decent contract, you're going to improve life for all of the workers in your plant. So I just want to thank you. I know it's not easy. I know that Amazon is putting a lot of pressure on you to vote against the union. But I hope that you guys stand together do the right thing. And the message will go out that if workers can prevail in forming a union and increasing their wages and benefits in Alabama, it can be done all over this country.
If you do decide to form a union, if that is your decision, I will be there. Thank you very much.
I think one of the things that we can learn from this is that we can win. We have won. And we have won in situations that are far, far, far more difficult. Wow, man, Bernie Sanders likes. Huh. So interesting. He's only like 962 posts. I was curious about that. Q Wani lives because Bernie is running ads. Wait, what? Seen this tripe? Oh gosh, of course. UnionProof.com. A projections resource. Unions are always rigorously searching for new opportunities across industries. Once they primarily focused on blue-collar industries such as construction and manufacturing, but they have rapidly adapted to the transformed workplace as jobs are redesigned to accommodate technologies. The union will spread its message inside the workplace. The union informs the NLRB of its interest in unionizing. The union runs an organizing drive. The union represented election is held. Collective bargaining between the employer and the union. If the union is certified to represent your employees, you are legally required to negotiate in good faith. Negotiations cover all aspects of employees' work lives, such as wage rates, work schedules, resolving disputes, workplace safety, benefits, and dues. Man, doesn't that sound terrible? Doesn't that sound terrible, chat? My latest theory is that the weird Amazon news tweets were actually by David H. Clark. Timeline matches, aggressive tone matches. The first retweets the second, and unlike the rest of them, these were on the Twitter web app. So here's what we know. There were 3 weird tweets from Amazon news account. I'll mention them below and draw notes. The first one is not on Sprinkler, but instead on just Twitter web app. Already fucking weird to see any brand account just raw docking this hell site. Mentions benefits, wages, number 2 workplace in the world. Then we get to the 1-2 peeing in bottles punch, physical punch, not drinking punch, with very similar tone. Also Twitter web app. Mentions wages, benefits, what Amazon offers, as well as Central P defense. Between these, we actually see Amazon News retweeting a statement by David Clark. This is hella weird. I can't see Amazon retweeting anything else save for another Dave Clark one later. With that retweet falling sometimes between blah, 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 blah. I will dig into Dave Clark's activity and comments now, but I've also noticed some older tweets that also have Twitter web apps, so I'm just spinning the thread here for posterity. We'll go into those now. Unlike the production team from Nomadland, it doesn't appear that the author of the piece has ever been to an Amazon building. He decided to write a fiction piece based on opinion instead of facts. This thread with the same tone and talking points, a combative thread as well, extremely unusual for this brand account from what I could see. Amazon Policy is also tweeting for the Twitter web app now, and in the same combative way on a similar timeline. Smells like collusion. Dave Clark also liked the tweet from his account. Weird. Amazon Public Policy is also retweeting Dave Clark. What a popular dude. I'm so glad that Amazon is retweeting David Clark, whose opinions are his own, but also clearly at least promoted by official Amazon accounts. Neat. The official account for news about Amazon. This extraordinary and revealing one of the most powerful politicians in the United States just said she's going to break up an American company so they can't criticize her anymore. There's a big difference between talk and action. Senator Sanders has been a powerful politician in Vermont for 30 years, and their minimum wage is still $11.75. Amazon's is $15, plus great health care from day one. Sanders would rather talk in Alabama than act in Vermont. First of all, Bernie Sanders is not in the Vermont state government. It never has been. He was a local mayor, and then he went to Congress. At no point was he ever in Vermont state government. Furthermore, they have a Republican governor. No shit, it's 1175. They have a Republican governor. It should absolutely be higher. That tweet was copied from an Amazon C-level executive. He's like the CEO of their retail.
Of Mexican meth, the flood of Mexican meth, Mexican heroin, Mexican fentanyl. 20 years ago in Montana, meth was homemade. It was homegrown. And it had purity levels less than 30%. Today, the meth that is getting into Montana is
then
Mexican
Heisenberg
cartel.
came.
The flood of Mexican.
Look for the union label for all meth and fent. I'm reminded of the SNL Pot Growers Association, but we need to make one for the Meth Makers Association. Somebody had to have this idea. I am not smart. Somebody had the same idea that I just did. God damn it, Jordan. God damn it, Jordan. International Brotherhood of Meth Workers, standing strong, standing united. Bring our jobs home. International Brotherhood of Meth Workers. Union pure, union proud. Okay. 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 This is better. The IBMW. Wow, that really sounds like a real union. That sounds like an actual union that could exist. The IBMW. My home state just announced a new drug awareness campaign. Meth. We're on it. People used to go around and buy as many of those blister packs. It was where a small drug dealer could get their start in America. Were you a school teacher who came down with a cancer diagnosis and you knew that your young family would not survive without you as a breadwinner? Well, if you had the chemistry skills, you too could make meth in America. You could fund your family. Now, it's all in the hands of the Mexican cartel. That's un-American. Let's stop paying attention to politics and just smoke meth until we die. Doesn't sound good. They took our jobs. We need a meth RV on every corner. We do politics here every morning starting at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. You can watch us here on Twitch. We're the morning guy. The morning politics guy. Politics Frogs in every single day. Same time, 10 a.m. Day in, day out. And we carry you through your morning and early afternoon politics needs. And if you need more, Mike from PA, we have a YouTube channel. We talked about suburbs, the My Pillow guy, Ted Cruz. We talked about DSA. Amazing. Making fun of Tim Pool. Amazing. Look at all of these amazing videos. Get in there, watch them. We have me on Twitter. You got to follow me on Twitter, chat. I'm at 20,614 subs. That means I got like 40 followers on Twitter in the last day. You can do better than that. You can do better than that. Go follow us on Twitter. And of course, join the Discord, where we have an incredible community of left-wing streamers. We have left-wing community. We talk about the stream. We talk about politics. There's gaming content. It's a really awesome, supportive place. Direct action, mutual aid. And you can just let off some steam. And also, you can help produce the show. One of the things I do is I look at the links that are put into the news content suggestions chat room on the Discord. Join the Discord, come hang out, and maybe what you want me to talk about will be part of the next show.